Hey, class, welcome back. We are talking about the Cold War still, and we are talking about this man right here. This is Joseph Stalin. He was the leader of the Soviet Union during the start of the Cold War until he passed away anyway. Uh, and he was not a very nice man. Uh, like I said before in one of the other videos, I'd put him up right up there with Adolf Hitler for as brutal of dictator as he was, because he estimated killed around 40 million people in his lifetime, out of several different things, whether he starved them out, whether he just had them killed. Anybody that disagreed with him, he had them put to death too. But he was the leader of the Soviet Union, and which was a communist country at the time, and during the beginning of the Cold War. And this scared people. It scared people because they did not want communism to come to the United States. Uh, he became leader of the Soviet Union after the founder, Vladimir Lenin, died in 1924. Uh, he ruled up to his own death in 1953, so he ruled for about 30 years or so. But he was a brutal leader and was responsible for over the deaths of over 20 million people they know of, and it's estimated about 40 million people is what it said on another slide that we went through. So that's a lot of people's deaths. But he was very brutal. If anybody that didn't agree with him, he got rid of them.
Biography. Joseph Stalin became leader of the Soviet Union after the founder of the Soviet Union, Vladimir Lenin, died in 1924. Stalin ruled up until his death in 1953. He was known as a brutal leader who was responsible for the deaths of over 20 million people.
All right, so where did he grow up? He grew up in Gory, Georgia. If you see right here, move that out of the way. If you see this right here, this is where he grew up, Georgia, Gory, Georgia. It was on a country just south of Russia. So his parents were poor. He had a rough childhood. At the age of 7, he got a disease called smallpox. And if you look here, this is what smallpox looked like if you got it, man. All right. He survived, but his skin was covered in scars because of this. All right. And he later went to a seminary to become a priest. He was wanting to become a priest, but he was expelled for being a radical. That's him as whenever his years in the seminary as a priest.
Where did Stalin grow up? He was born in Gory, Georgia, a country just south of Russia, on the 8th of December, 1878. Stalin's parents were poor and he had a rough childhood. At the age of 7, he got the disease smallpox. He survived, but his skin was covered in scars. He later went to a seminary to become a priest. However, he was expelled for being a radical.
All right. So after leaving the seminary, he joined up with the Bolshevik revolutionaries. It was an underground group of people that followed the communist writings of Karl Marx, and they were led by Vladimir Lenin. He became a leader with the Bolsheviks. He led riots, strikes. He raised money by robbing banks. He became one of Lenin's top leaders, and he was next in line after Lenin died to become the leader of the Bolshevik Party.
The revolution. After leaving the seminary, Stalin joined up with the Bolshevik revolutionaries. This was an underground group of people that followed the communist writings of Karl Marx and were led by Vladimir Lenin. Stalin became a leader with the Bolsheviks. He led riots and strikes and even raised money by robbing banks and other crimes. Soon Stalin became one of Lenin's top leaders.
Yeah, he became a leader with the Bolsheviks after Vladimir Lenin's death. He became not just a leader within him, but he became the leader. In 1917, the Russian Revolution took place. The government, led by the czars, were overthrown, and Lenin and the Bolsheviks came into power. Russia was now called the Soviet Union because they took control of all these different little countries. And Joseph Stalin was a major leader in the government during this time.
The revolution continued. In 1917, the Russian Revolution took place. This was when the government led by the czars were overthrown and Lenin and the Bolsheviks came into power. Russia was now called the Soviet Union, and Joseph Stalin was a major leader in the government.
All right, 1924, Vladimir Lenin died. This is Vladimir Lenin. Right here, that's Vladimir Lenin. That's on the last page. He passed away, and Stalin had been the general secretary of the Communist Party since 1922, 2 years earlier. But he had been growing in power and control. And after Lenin's death, Stalin took over as the sole leader of the Soviet Union.
Lenin's death. In 1924, Vladimir Lenin died. Stalin had been general secretary of the Communist Party since 1922. He had been growing in power and control. After Lenin's death, Stalin took over as sole leader of the Soviet Union.
All right, strengthening the country. In order to strengthen the Soviet Union, he decided the country should get away from agriculture and become industrialized. So he had all these factories built through the country, and they would help the Soviet Union to fight the Germans in World War II because he had industrialized the country he had.
Strengthening the country. In order to strengthen the Soviet Union, Stalin decided that the country should move away from agriculture and become industrialized. He had factories built through the country. These factories would help the Soviet Union to fight the Germans in World War II.
And as we talked about with World War II, when we were talking about it, during the start of the World War II, the Germans and the Soviet Union were friends until Adolf Hitler turned around and stabbed him in the back, and they attacked Germany. All right. As I said, purges and murder, okay? Stalin was one of the most brutal leaders in world history. All right. He was right up there with Adolf Hitler. He had anyone that didn't agree with him killed. He caused famines in the areas of the country, so people he wanted dead would starve out. All right, people. I mean, he wouldn't kill them directly. He'd just, hey, I'm just not gonna provide you with food because that's what communist countries do. They provide you with food. I'm just not gonna provide you with food, and you're gonna starve out. He ordered purges where millions of people he thought were against him would be killed or put into slave labor camps. And like I said, historians aren't sure the exact number of people that he killed, but they estimate between 20 to 40 million, which is a whole lot of people. That's a very brutal leader he was. And like I said, if you did not agree with him, you chances are you were going to get starved out. You're going to get killed some way or another.
Purges and murder. Stalin was one of the most brutal leaders in world history. He had anyone that didn't agree with him killed. He also caused famines in areas of the country so people he wanted dead would starve. Throughout his rule, he would order purges where millions of people he thought were against him would be killed or put into slave labor camps. Historians aren't sure how many people he had killed, but they estimate between 20 to 40 million.
All right. At the start of World War II, like I said, Stalin had formed an alliance with Adolf Hitler, this man right here. All right. Hitler hated Stalin. The Germans made a surprise attack on the Soviet Union in 1941. In order to fight off the Germans, Stalin joined the Allies with Britain and the United States and France. And after the terrible war, where many on both sides died, the Germans were defeated finally. This was during World War II. But these two, Stalin and Adolf Hitler, at the beginning of World War II, were friends. All right, they had an alliance with each other until Adolf Hitler turned around and attacked him, made a surprise attack on him.
World War II. At the start of World War II, Stalin formed an alliance with Adolf Hitler and Germany. However, Hitler hated Stalin, and the Germans made a surprise attack on the Soviet Union in 1941. In order to fight off the Germans, Stalin joined the allies of Britain and the United States. After a terrible war where many on both sides died, the Germans were defeated.
All right. So this brings us to the start of the Cold War. After World War II, Stalin, he set up puppet governments in Eastern European countries that the Soviet Union had freed from Germany. And these governments were ran by the Soviet Union, though. And this is what started the Cold War between the two world superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United States, because they were gaining land, getting all these different countries. They were just puppets, okay? They weren't real, all right? They were set up as countries, but the Soviet Union really had control of them. That's what I mean by puppets.
Start of the Cold War. After World War II, Stalin set up puppet governments in Eastern Europe countries that the Soviet Union had freed from Germany. These governments were ran by the Soviet Union. This started the Cold War between the two world superpowers, the Soviet Union and the United States.
All right, comprehension question. Joseph Stalin was the leader of what country? A, the Soviet Union, B, Italy, or C, France? It is A, the Soviet Union. He led the country from 1924 after Vladimir Lenin's death all the way to his own death in 1953.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 2, Joseph Stalin attended school to train for what occupation? What did he want to be? A, an engineer, B, a priest, or C, a doctor? It was B, a priest. He wanted to be a priest, and he went to seminary, but he got kicked out of the seminary for being a radical.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 3, who did Stalin ally with at the start of World War II? What country did he ally with, and who did he ally with? A, France, B, Germany, or C, the United States? It was B, Germany. He was an ally with Germany and Adolf Hitler until Hitler didn't like him, really. So he turned around and surprise attacked him.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 4, what country was Joseph Stalin born in? A, North Carolina, B, Gorey, Georgia, or C, Texas? It is B, Gorey, Georgia. Is a country just south of Russia.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner.
Number 5, what disease did he get at age 7? Age 7, he got a very nasty disease that kills lots of people, but he overcame it. A, scarlet fever, B, the smallpox, or C, polio? It is B, smallpox is what he got. It left scars all over him,
Ding,
even
ding,
after
ding. We have a winner.
after he got better from it. And that is all. I don't have any more. I'll give you one more. How many people did he kill? It's estimated 20 to 40 million people is how many he killed. I thought I had one more comprehension question on there, but I guess I didn't. Estimated 20 to 40 million people during his life or during his rule as the Soviet Union leader. All right, class. I will see you next time. This time it will be next week. It will be the Red Scare will be one of our topics, and I look forward to talking about it because people were legitimately scared of communism coming to the United States during this time. But you all have a very good day, and I will see you next time.